Hi everyone, my name is Rishad. Today is the 29th of December 2025 and I'll be going over my weekly prediction for Nvidia. As usual, I'll be going over the monthly, weekly, and finally the daily charts, and then I'll switch over to the Excel sheet where we'll review the last prediction and go over this one in more detail. But before getting into this video, it's important to make the disclaimer that all information here is completely educational and therefore it is important to conduct your own analysis, whatever analysis that may be, to ensure that you're comfortable with the risk, reward, and trading style. So with that out of the way, let's get into this video. Now, monthly charts are interesting for Nvidia. We see that, beginning of this rally was incredibly high volume. We're looking at 12 billion, 10 billion. However, it has now teetered off to 3.4. So the volume has declined exponentially throughout this advance, and we see that RSI has been overbought, crashed back down, gone up, and we're kind of overbought right now. However, we haven't really experienced the full crash yet. We do have this bearish engulfing pattern. Again, this next candle here is bullish, so it doesn't really confirm the pattern at all. So yeah, again, mixed signals coming from the monthly charts, so we will have to drill in a little bit into the weeklies. Now here's where it gets interesting. We see we're sort of at a symmetrical triangle price pattern here, and we see that we're approaching this convergence point. Now, because we are sort of moving in this upwards direction, and we are now above the Bollinger Band, at least in the short term, this indicates a bullish signal, and especially in the last trading week, where stocks generally tend to go up, this is a very plausible reality. And again, we would expect, at least in the short term, potentially for the symmetrical triangle to be broken upwards. Now, whether that means anything is a different issue, because after this week ends, there may be a snapback if not driven by technicals or fundamentals. So now let's move into the daily charts. Again, here we can see this in a little more detail. We did have this one sort of whipsaw here. However, RSI is very strongly confirming this upward movement we're seeing, and we are towards the top of the band here. However, as you can see, historically what tends to happen is, 94 to 95% of price action is contained within these bands. So whenever this type of extraneous movement does happen, we typically see a correction all the way down, right? So this is the logic behind the Bollinger Bands to start with. So again, if we do see a sort of breakout, then we can actually expect a mean reversal. So again, that's something to look out for as well on the daily chart. Now moving into here, we will buy Nvidia when it crosses 191 and sell if it falls below 183.35 with a target of 2% and a trailing stop loss of 1%. If neither are hit, then we close on Friday. The weekly and monthly trend are up. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.